Good morning, BookTube. Cheers. Beautiful day. Woke up, bright day, blue skies. So, a couple days before Thanksgiving. We should have some snow flying here pretty soon, though, according to the weather report. So we'll see. That's just part of living in Vermont. So, and a lot of other places. So it's just that time of year, and I actually enjoy the winter. But I wanted to do a book haul. I have actually a couple days worth. So many of you know that the booktuber Steve Donahue is staying up here with us for the holiday. Having a wonderful time. He's a great guest. We kid around a lot, but he's a great guest. And Frida Bean, his miniature schnauzer, and she's a great joy. So good time, but been really busy. So I need to get this all in and share with you some really good finds. So the places we've been is the Listen Charity Shop, which I mention on this channel all the time. My local comic shop, Newberry Comics, up in West Lebanon, New Hampshire, which is a wonderful place and a wonderful staff. So if anybody's with Newberry Comics, you need to know that you got a good group up there. Newberry Comics is a chain. We also have gone to Sevka, which is a Southeast Vermont group that has a little charity shop in Springfield, Vermont. We went to Queechee, where Frida Bean got to make friends with the alpacas, who seem to really love her. And then we shopped in there, and I got a book in there. So actually, I need to stop this for a minute because I'm missing a book, and that reminded. So I'm back again. Hopefully that was a brief interlude because it can be edited. I just have so much stuff I've gotten in the last few days. I actually left some items out in the living room, so I just went and grabbed them. So another place we went where Steve and Frida love to go is a charity shop up in Bridgewater, Vermont, which is right next to Woodstock. And I did pretty well there, but I did it with LPs and books. So I'm going to show you the comic books I got at the comic book shop. This is real quick because they're just continuations of series that I've already shown on this channel. And this is number 26 of the Savage Adventures. Like I said, it's early morning here, and I'm run into difficulties speaking sometimes anyway. And then the other one is the Sumerian Beyond the Black River. This is one of these Ablaze volumes. I really like these. He looks pretty intense there, doesn't he? That's Conan. And I'll show you a little bit of art there. So I'm always happy to have those. I'm a little behind on my reading with those. At Bridgewater, I picked up a bunch of LPs. I collect vinyl. Mostly classical and opera. I do have other things. So I'll just show you what I got, and I'll do it real quick because not everybody watches this channel for the vinyl. You know, close that door. There we go. Get some of that glare out. So this is Schubertade, or I'm not sure how you would pronounce it, but it's about Schubert, and it's a let's see here. It's a Harmonia Mundi. Usually pretty good. I like these sort of things. Here we have our, some of our artists right here, and it's one of these that opens up. I always check the condition of the vinyl. They had, I don't know if any of you remember, the Time Life came out with the big collection of black boxed Mozart, and I don't have those, and they had some there, but there was a little bit of mold on them, so they didn't make it here. And here's Water Music by Handel. Deutsche Grammophon, a label I enjoy very much. Here's Handel Concerto Audukoi, English Chamber Orchestra with Raymond Lepard. And this is something called the Festivo series in Edison. Philips is the label. Have not listened to these yet. This one looks exciting. Brahms Piano Concerto No. 1, Claudio Arau. It's the Concertgebouw Orchestra out of Amsterdam with Bernard Haitink. I always have trouble saying his name, so when they say it on NPR. I listen to NPR classical music during the day, and they'll pronounce some things like that I can hear them in my head. I can say it sometimes, and sometimes I can't. But that's just like, I have a lot of Glenn Gould, and this one, and I also have a lot of Leopold Stokowski. They're here together with Beethoven's Emperor Concerto, which I love. I was glad to find this. And here's Horzowski, and this is Mozart, Chopin, and Schumann. What's my label here? Geez, is that color? I don't have enough light in here to tell. When I close that, I get rid of light. It's actually darker for me than it will be for you on the screen. There's Prokofiev, Romeo and Juliet, or Juliet. And Piano Sonata number 2, Lazar Berman. Interested to listen to this one. And Herbert von Karajan and Lazar Berman. And this is Tchaikovsky. And it's Piano Concerto number 1 in B-flat minor with the Berliner Philharmonic. So that's the LPs. We got those out of the way fairly quickly, although we're almost 5 minutes in. Let me just put those over here, because the piles of books are going to be a little bit to handle. Comic books are out of the way. So when I went to Queechee, you spend a little more money there. Not a lot, but a little more than you would at the charity shops. And for me, this was worth the money. It was marked at, what does it say in here? $12.50, but they had a sale, so I got it for $9. And there's going to be a glare issue on this one. This is a frigate, Constitution, and other historic ships. F. Alexander McGowan. This is a wonderful thing, one of these Bonanza Press books about... there are 30 plates, 16 plans, and 63 detailed illustrations. And a lot of this was done, I think this was 1927, if I remember, 1928. And the restoration on USS Constitution, Old Ironside, started, I think was done in 1927. So this is some of the work that comes out of that. But let me see if they list. Here's a letter from Rear Admiral Philip Andrews, this of the United States Navy, to McGowan, who did this book. So we have a Viking ship, Santa Maria, Mayflower, the Constitution itself, the clipper ship Flying Cloud, fishing schooner Blue Nose, a chronological table, and an index. Now, the plates and plans are really the thing here. So here's a Mayflower passengers, a little map there, some modeling. They do have, let me see if I look. So here's a plan of the Constitution. There's many, many different plans in different parts here. I'm not going to show them all because I have enough books, so it would be a challenge. So this thing is just loaded. Thrilled to have it. Where some of the work's going on and some details. So we'll go right over here in the maritime stuff, which needs to be reorganized again because I keep adding to this collection, which is a good thing. So moving right along. So this, I've been collecting these New Grove volumes, the paperback volumes. This is Stanley Sadie, who is well known, and this is the New Grove Mozart. This one, let's see, is from 82. And I've also have in this the Haydn volume, I believe, Italian Baroque Masters, Schubert. So I got a ways to go on these. You'll get all sorts of... These are great for students, but they're also great for me. Some of it may go over my head, but a lot of it adds to my reading and listening enjoyment. So I'm always happy to have these. This next thing was sort of fun. And I can't remember the title of the reference book. I just realized that reference book. The book I'm going to reference. But you look it up on your you could Google it. So I like Ted Hughes's poetry, and I've got big collected volumes, and I've got a few volumes, and I really loved the looks of this. And it's selected poems, 1957 to 1994. Beautiful thing. But the exciting thing to me, and I'm glad to have it, but the exciting thing is when I opened it up, this used to belong to Mimi Baird, December 2002. So there's Mimi Baird. And some of you will know who she is, and I can't remember the title of the book. But like I say, if you look up Mimi Baird, it'll pop up immediately because the book was optioned by Brad Pitt. And it's about her father, who was a famous researcher and had some psychological issues, and she actually spoke at my library, and just a really, really nice human being. So I was excited to have Mimi's volume of this, and she lives in that general area, so I'm not surprised it was there, but I'm happy to be the one who got it. So that'll have a special little place. The next one here is one of these Routledge scholarly things, which I like. That coffee's getting cold fast. And this is The Mediterranean World in Late Antiquity, AD 395 to 600 by Averil Cameron. And these are always nice reference works for me. And it has a little blurb by Peter Brown, which is very appropriate. I'll just show you some of the inside of this thing to give you an idea. So they have maps and photos that help you. They have timelines. They have all sorts of stuff. These Routledge volumes are very good. The only thing about them, I would say, is you want to make sure they don't have highlighting, or if they have any annotations, they're ones that you find valuable, which can happen. I mean, I'm not always... some coins here, so Jason Harrigan's got something to look at. So this will go on that shelf. I probably won't get to it immediately, but it's short enough that I can give it the time, and I can use it for reference when I'm reading some other works. This is a volume I was very excited to find, and immediately brought to mind Peg at the History Shelf, who knows way more about this publisher than I do. This is Pen and Sword, and it's Pen and Sword Maritime, and this is Sailors on the Rocks, famous Royal Navy shipwrecks. And it's beautifully done, beautifully produced. It has a center section of photographs. So they're ringing the bell at Lloyd's of London to say somebody has had a wreck. And it goes through time, so you have modern ships, or modern-ish ships. Heavy on the footnotes and details and sources, which is always nice for somebody like me, because a lot of times you end up going down a rabbit hole with these ships. So very glad to have. Again, this will go on these maritime books over here, just need to be organized. This next book, I actually was in Bridgewater when I get this one. And I asked Steve about it, and he does remember when it came out. So this is Letters from China, the Canton Boston Correspondence of Robert Bennett Forbes, 1838 to 1840. And it's compiled and edited by Phillips Forbes Kerr, who is his granddaughter, I believe. Or their granddaughters, because it's Letters Home. Beautifully done thing. And it's signed Phillips Forbes Kerr right here. So Flory had this book a long time ago, and then I have it now. It's a Mystic Seaport Museum in Mystic, Connecticut, which doesn't hurt, because it's one of the great maritime museums. And then did this come out? Did it 1996. So, and appropriately was printed in Hong Kong. So, correspondence, I think it's when the Opium Wars are going on. And look at this. Isn't that beautiful? And Steve remembers being really impressed by it. So I did grab it. I have looked through it just a small bit. But I have some of these types of the China trade and those types of things around. And looking forward to that. This next one, I started reading it last night. I got to drink some of this coffee before it's freezing. This is one of my favorite travel writers, historians, woman I admire very, very much, and that's this is called A Thought Diary, In My Mind's Eye by Jan Morris. Absolutely wonderful. I would love to have seen before she passed away just recently, and she was in her 90s. I would love to visit her house in Wales just to see it. I've seen pictures. I have a book of Celtic houses, and her house in Wales is just stunning if you're a book lover, especially. And she was magnificent. I wonder if they have it here on the list. A writer's house in Wales, and it was one of those National Geographics, I think, series called Directions. It was really good, and I don't have a copy, so I need to find one. I haven't seen one in a long time. I actually haven't seen any in that series in a long time. So I've read a few of these. And to get a 90-year-old's perspective, but who has, at the age of 90, a mind much more spry than my own. So it's a good example for an older fellow like me to realize you just got to keep on trucking. Then, because I've been building up a little bit of the Henry James, nothing fancy, I tend to like travel writing and literary criticism, but I need to read some of the fiction. And this one is one of those Book of the Month Club things that were so popular back in the day. This is Henry James's Daisy Miller, The Aspirin Papers, The Turn of the Screw, and The Beast in the Jungle. So happy to have it. It'll go on the American literature shelf, although he's hard to categorize, right? Spent a good part of his life in Europe. Breathed that one wrong. And continuing with the American theme, I needed a copy of this. This is funny because I'm sitting here talking to Steve. I go, geez, I don't remember the whole book. I remember reading the part at the beginning that was fantastic. And we talked back and forth, and it comes out, we think I read actually a reprint of just the beginning of the book. Because they did have one, he said, and that probably is what I did, but it's been a long time. And that is Underworld by Don DeLillo. So I picked this up for like 75 cents. It's pretty good shape. I'm going to try to give it a read and see if I get this far and realize I read the whole thing. And I'll just keep going because obviously I don't remember. This next one I read and loved. I actually liked some of this author's stuff other things I've read, but I had a green hardback. I wish I still had it, but this will have to do. And this is Mark Halperin, and this is The Soldier of the Great War. Set in World War I, obviously, and Italy, and it's just a wonderful story. It stuck with me all these years, so I'm glad to have a copy. And this next one was done as a recommendation from one of my patrons. And she bought a copy for the library. I saw it for 75 cents, said, well, I'll get it for myself. It's one of these Europa editions, and it's got a blurb on the front by Hilary Mantel, but it's Andrew Miller's Now We Shall Be Entirely Free. Let me see what they say here. On a rain-swept night in 1809, an unconscious man is carried into a house in Somerset, England. In the ongoing war against Napoleon, the Battle of Corunna stands out as a humiliation. A once proud army forced to scatter. Civilized men reduced to senseless acts of cruelty. Captain John LaCroix has survived this infamous retreat and returned from Spain to England, but scarred in body and mind and carrying with him a shameful secret. So I've heard really good things about that, so if any of you read it, let me know. I love these Europa editions. Don't have many of them. Then this next one is by a writer I enjoyed but have not read in literally decades. And I saw this. I'd never seen it before, so I just grabbed it. And this is Amy Tan, and this is Where the Past Begins, a writer's memoir. And I know she's done another memoir. So this one's not designed to be shown on screen, is it? It looks great when you're sitting here with it. Let's give a picture of our author. And I think there are, yeah, there's a lot of photographs and family stories. So this is another one. I'm actually really looking forward to this. I've enjoyed her works in the past. So we will see. And then this last one's like a compilation volume, an anthology. It's edited by Stephen Kuntz. It's Victory. Big old thing here. So let's see here. It has Stephen Kuntz, Ralph Peters, Harold Coyle, Harold Robbins, which sort of threw me because that dates it a little bit, right? That's probably a reprint. R.J. Pinheiro, David Hagberg, Jim DeFelice, James Cobb, and Barrett Tillman, and Dean Ing. And it's a forged volume, and it's a stirring tribute to the greatest generation of Americans. Victory brings together the finest military fiction writers in the world with short novels of courage, skill, daring, and sacrifice. Here you will meet the men and women who fought and won World War II and truly made the world safe for democracy, in thrilling stories of war as it was really fought. Now, the Harold Robbins sort of throws me a bit. I don't think of him as a military writer, but he's a writer. He can do what he's got to do, right? Harold Robbins takes us back to a time when victory could be had on Normandy beaches if a reluctant hero managed to stop the master of Europe with his blood. So, who knows? We will see. So, quite a lot of books. I'm not even going to attempt a Steve Pyramid, and some LPs, and I think I had a CD in there, I forgot, but comic books. So quite a mix, but I've got some appointments, so I'm going to get running, try to get this posted today. I'm well aware that I could never keep up with Mr. Donahue as far as video postings. So if any of you are wondering, that has now been proven to be the case. So I hope you're all well, and thank you, BookTube.